If you're a grown man and you're telling yourself you're too busy, I'm gonna show you why that's complete and utter BS and how your calendar proves it. I'm not talking to broke college kids. I'm talking to men with real jobs, real stress, real families. The guy who sits at his desk all day and wonders why his body keeps falling apart year after year. Here's the actual truth: being busy isn't the problem. Lying to yourself about where your time goes and being inefficient is. In this video, I'm going to dismantle every single excuse around being busy, about your job, your time with family, relaxation, stress, and everything, and show why none of them actually hold up if you actually care about the outcome. My name is Noah. I used to be fat myself, working a desk job. Now I'm in the best shape of my life. I've coached dozens of men, and I help corporate men over 35 lose the belly fat, regain their confidence and energy using the Corporate Comeback Project, which I invented. Most of them are slammed. Most of them thought they were too busy, and all of them were wrong. So the number one most important thing is for you to actually accept what I'm saying. We need to have a tangible metric and an amount of time we're speaking about. Otherwise, we're not speaking about the same thing. You may think it takes hours and hours of training and meal prepping and cardio to get fit, and that's the number one fallacy I see. So the number one most important point is that it only takes 90 minutes per week to get fit. Now, you may be under the assumption, based on all of these motivational speakers and all of these bodybuilders, that it's a real grind and it's really hard to get fit, blah, 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 blah. That's not actually the case. They lied to you. Here's how it actually works. You will not be doing hours and hours of cardio every day. Instead, what you're going to be doing is you're going to increase your movement throughout the day, whether that's taking the stairs, whether that's walking further from your parking spot to your job, or you can even hike with your family and you can incorporate it into your daily life. But the most important thing is actually just getting more movement in. You're not trying to be a bodybuilder. You're not spending hours and hours, training, doing cardio. That's not actually the correct way to lose weight in your position. What you need to do is just increase your movement throughout the day, doing simple things like that. It's not really hard. Try to get 10,000 steps. Not a big deal. Number two, this will be the biggest time suck. It's gonna be weight training. You're gonna train about 30 minutes 3 times per week. The next thing you're gonna do is weight training, which is way more important for fat loss than just cardio, right? We're not trying to run all the time. What we're trying to do is actually look good, feel good, and be respected. So you're only gonna train 30 minutes 3 times per week, or you can split it up a little bit more, but everybody has that amount of time. 30 minutes 3 times per week, that's it. So how are you gonna get the same results as these bodybuilders working out this amount of time? It's super, super simple. There's a few things that I like to do inside of the Corporate Comeback Project that helps a lot of people. Number one is you're gonna train to failure every single time. Now, what that means is that every single set you do, right? We're doing resistance training. We're not doing cardio. We're not doing Pilates. We're not doing stuff like that. You're gonna take your weight or your resistance bands or your cables, whatever you have at the gym, at home. You're gonna go to failure every single set. This is gonna drop the number of sets you can do and the amount of volume you can do, and you're still gonna be training really, really hard. Another thing you can do is special kinds of sets, right? You can do sets where you go from one muscle group to an antagonist muscle group. Those are called antagonist sets, right? So for example, if you're doing a bicep curl, the next movement you're gonna do is a tricep push down, right? Just antagonist supersets. That way, while one muscle is tired, you can work the next muscle. Another thing you can do is called myo reps / myo sets. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take a set to failure. You're gonna wait about 10 to 15 seconds, and then you're gonna go into it again immediately. You're gonna do about 5 sets of those. That cuts down your total time like way low. It's insane how much time it actually saves. I did this for a very, very long time, and I still do it when I'm on a time crunch, and a lot of my workouts take 20 to 30 minutes. Now, a lot of that is fancy jargon. A lot of that is, very, very practical. If you don't have a workout plan, obviously this is gonna be a little bit difficult. So if you need a workout plan, you can probably find one online. You can find one probably in my content somewhere. That's a good way to actually save time working out. So it is a huge waste of time to actually drive to the gym, right? A lot of people don't have that time. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna work out from home. It's really, really simple. You can buy a machine that hits multiple muscle groups. You can have one that has the cable flies and the lat pull down and the row machine, right? So it has all of these machines in one, and it's not really that expensive. It's like $700 to $1,000. Or you can just do what I like to recommend a lot is resistance bands. Resistance bands are a big deal because you can take them anywhere. You can train with them anywhere. If you're traveling for work, if you have client meetings, you can train anywhere with these, right? And they're super inexpensive too. So resistance bands is a huge deal. So continuing on how it's only gonna take you 90 minutes per week to get fit, most people would recommend meal prepping. You're not gonna do meal prepping. This is really stupid. It's a waste of time. I don't know why people even do this. If you're a corporate guy, you're busy, you've got work to do, you're stressed, you don't have time to be meal prepping. Unless your wife is making your meals, which is nice. What you wanna do is you're gonna order in meals, or you're gonna do like the pre-made meals from Costco or from Walmart. You know, you're gonna get those little boxed meals. Make sure the macros are healthy, of course. So you're gonna try to get a high amount of protein, typically 1 gram of protein per centimeter of height. One of the biggest ways you can save time is not actually meal prepping, but actually buying meals. That is the new method, that's the new meta. That's what you need to do if you wanna lose weight in this super busy and hectic schedule and lifestyle that you have. Another thing too is when you're out for client dinners, I know it can be really hard to stay on track, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna track the protein and the calories on their online menu. So if you're out at somewhere like, you know, a Chili's or a restaurant that has nutritional information online, you can easily find that, especially if it's a chain. It's a little bit harder for kind of individual restaurants, but you can just kind of follow some simple rules. You know, have a fistful, like 2 fistfuls of protein, or 1 fistful of protein, a handful of carbs, and you know, you can have as many vegetables as you want. But that's typically a good way to make sure you're within your macros. You can even take a picture of it, and you can get an AI tracker to find out how much protein and calories are in it. It's not always the most accurate, but it's a really helpful way to make sure you're kind of still tracking what you're doing. And if you don't want to bring pre-made lunches, or you know, you're somewhere else and you can't bring your food along, what you can do is you can do Uber Eats, or you can do DoorDash, and you can just order from somewhere else. You don't need to be buying these unhealthy meals. There's actually healthy options around. You know, you can go to somewhere like Chipotle or Cava, and you can get way healthier options. You can cut down, you know, the amount of super high fats you have, kind of keep it lower sauce, and you can customize it so that it is healthy and it fits within your macros. That method is super underrated. I don't know why more people don't do it, but that's the way that so many corporate guys are able to lose weight, especially when they're on the go or when they're traveling. That is literally it. That's how it takes only 90 minutes to lose weight during the week, because you're not gonna be spending your time meal prepping. You're not gonna be doing hours and hours of cardio. You're not a bodybuilder. That's not what you're trying to do. Trying to lose fat so you feel respected, you have more confidence and energy. You're a guy with a good career, you know, you're a hard worker, but that kind of stuff is for other guys. It's not for you. Now, this should get rid of 90% of people's excuses. It's that simple, but if you're the remaining 10%, then that's what the rest of this video is for. And I'm gonna show you why it's still complete bull. Hey, by the way, if you are potentially interested in some extra assistance or some extra help, you can go to my Instagram. You can give me a follow. That'll be in the description. There will be a link. You can check out my other content. There's a bunch of, you know, other free tips and valuable insights you can get there. So definitely follow me to get that. And if you want a free consult, genuinely free, I'm not gonna try and sell you something. This isn't like a little trick to get you onto a sales call. If you want a genuinely free consult, you can message me the word busy, and I'll see if I can kind of potentially help you out. But back to what you're here for. The second thing is that you have vices and time wasters. I'm gonna be really blunt with you here. Every single person who says they're too busy is wasting their time on one of these things, if not all of them. One thing I'm gonna bet you're doing is you're probably scrolling on social media before bed. And you may even be doing that right now as we speak. You know, you're watching YouTube before you're supposed to go to bed and you're supposed to be sleeping, and you're wasting your time. That time that you're watching this video, it's probably gonna be 20 to 30 minutes long, I'm guessing. You could have spent that working out. I would recommend you get off the YouTube and start working out. But of course, if you wanna learn more, keep watching. But that's one of the #1 things I see. People scrolling before bed, and they act like they have no time. Another thing you're doing is you're doing fake work. You're checking your emails at dinner, you know, you're checking your Slack notifications, whatever it is. You're doing fake work and you're procrastinating. Of course, we all do this. I do this occasionally. But, you know, we could be doing a lot better. If we cut this out, I'm sure we could find 20 to 30 minutes to exercise, or to even just go on a little walk. Another thing is that 9 hours at work is pretty much cope. Most of the time, if you're working all of those hours, let's be honest, I know what's going on in the offices. There's a lot of chatting. There's a lot of, you know, talking at the water station. There's a lot of busy work, you know, same thing with checking emails, doing notifications. All of that is kind of nonsense. If you cut out those time wasters, #1, you're being more efficient than the people who take all the time wasters and they waste so much time. But you're wasting your time during the day. Maybe you could clock out earlier if you really focused on your work for the 8 hours instead of the 9, or the 9 hours instead of the 10. Then you would be doing a lot better. And then another thing you can do is during your break, if you eat your food fast, you know, you take 15 minutes to eat, you can take the next 15 minutes to walk around, or maybe you can even train during that time. 15 minutes, 5 times per week is, 75 minutes? So that gets you really close to your target, and plus you're not really wasting the company's time at all. You're just working out, during your lunch break. Now, obviously that one's a little extreme. There's a bunch of other things we could do before that, but that's just something to consider, that you do actually have time, you're just spending it elsewhere. Another thing I see a lot of people doing is at night, they're watching the game or they're watching Netflix. What are you doing? Do you actually have the audacity to tell me and to tell others you don't have time to work out, you don't have time to get fit, but you're watching Netflix and you're watching the football game? That's absolutely ridiculous. And I don't want to hear excuses about unwinding. You can literally unwind doing other things. Plus, you can also train while you watch the television. If you get the resistance bands and you train while you're watching the TV, you're watching the television and you're working out, plus you'll actually feel better than just watching the television. Not only that, but playing with your children is unwinding, and that's more movement. That's more movement you can incorporate so that you're healthier and you're fitter and you're living a better lifestyle. What you're actually looking for when you get home is you're looking for quick dopamine hits. You're not actually busy, you're just trying to please yourself when you get home. Another thing you're doing is you're probably snacking or potentially drinking late at night. The issue with this is it takes time to do those things, and these things are directly hurting your goals. I don't have an innate problem with, eating some snacks, having a drink every once in a while. Those things aren't bad, but I don't want to hear it as an excuse for why you're too busy when you're spending your time doing things like that. Now, number 3, after I gone through like all of these time wasters, you can probably think of more things you do yourself during the day. But after all of this, there should truly be nobody here. Everybody should be like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's true. I do scroll. Yeah, I am watching Netflix. Yeah, I am wasting time. I'm not too busy. And yeah, I see how I can fit a workout into my life. But the final problem is more about you as an individual rather than kind of these external things that you can fix. And it's that you aren't prioritizing the right things. And maybe you have to actually cut something out. If your health, your marriage, your strength, your prayer life are all kind of going down the drain, but your calendar is still full, you have a priorities problem, not a busyness problem. Especially if you're a Christian, you're called to steward your body, not to sacrifice it to middle management. Mark Zuckerberg, Joe Rogan, Ray Dalio, they all make time to get fit. And let's be honest, one of them's running $1 billion company. You're not more busy than them. You're not too busy to work out, and they still make the time. So if they can make the time, you definitely can. Another thing to consider is that things will never be perfect. All of the green lights of life are never gonna be perfectly aligned. And that's the thing too, if you can't learn to lose weight while things are hard, while things are tough, then how are you ever gonna see results when things do actually get tough? If you just wait for things to get easy, then you won't know how to handle things when life actually does get way more busy. And another thing too, is if you're truly that strapped for time, if you truly go to yourself, no, I'm actually still busy, I actually have 0 time. One thing to consider is you don't actually have to train to lose fat, even though it's recommended, you don't have to do this. So that's basically how it takes 0 minutes to get fit. If you wanna lose fat, that takes 0 minutes. That doesn't take any time at all. Another thing you can do is you can sleep less. And I don't mean literally sleeping less, but I mean optimizing your sleep so that when you go to bed, you fall asleep right away and you're not doing the time wasters, but you're actually going to bed on time, you're waking up on time. Preferably you're waking up earlier so you can work out in the morning, because nobody feels like working out after a long day of work. That's actually a super underrated strategy. That's what everybody should be doing. Working out in the morning sets up the rest of your day for success. And when you work out, you're gonna wanna follow your diet more because you spent all this time in the gym, and it's just an upward spiral. So make sure you're sleeping the right amount. Maybe instead of on the weekends, don't oversleep. Wake up just a little bit earlier. I'm not saying to just throw all your sleep to the wall, because that's actually important that you do get enough sleep. But this is a way, if you're optimizing your sleep and you're sleeping well, then you're not spending more time sleeping when you should be doing something like working out 3 times a week. The next point I kind of have under this third category is that you need to get rid of this idea that busy equals important. I know in the corporate world, that's how things are. That's how it is all around the world. If you go to Japan, if you're busy, you're a productive worker, you're doing well. They're more busy than us, right? The Japanese culture is really crazy. They have almost no time to themselves and they're working all day, but they aren't fat. That's something for you to consider. So if they can do it, then there's no reason that you can't be healthy like them. What I've learned from work and business and just from general life is that needle movers are what's important. Something that's completely irrelevant is just busy work. So this idea that busy equals important or productive is completely wrong, and you need to get that out of your mind as soon as possible. I know it's countercultural, but that is what actually fit people do, and that's how they live their life. Second to last thing, if truly at the end of this, you go to yourself, and I hope I'm speaking to nobody right now, but if you think to yourself, nah, I still don't have time, then you need to just cut something out, because your health is collapsing. You could die from how you're feeling. The rest of your life could be miserable. And you're experiencing that right now. As we speak, you're feeling miserable. You're tired of getting comments from coworkers or from family members. You're tired of feeling embarrassed in family photos. You're tired of your shirts not fitting right. You're tired of not having energy, or you're not performing as well in bed. You're tired of maybe your wife giving you some comments even. And you're living your life like that every single day. And you're gonna sit there and you're gonna say, no, I'm not gonna prioritize my health. Now's not a good time, I'm busy. You're too busy to 10x your life. You're too busy to make your life 10 times more enjoyable, 10 times more fulfilling. Because if you're gonna honestly sit there and tell me that, then I can't help you. And the last thing is that you're just using it as an excuse. And you know you are. And if you're still in your mind saying the same thing, I'm too busy, I don't have time, now's not the right time, then you're lying to yourself. And again, I can't help you. So if you actually want to see results, and you actually care about becoming the person you want to be, being the fit man, being respected, when you come home, you have energy for your kids. If you want to be that guy, you have to tell yourself that this excuse that you have in your mind is never valid again, ever. I have helped people who work 90+ hour weeks and they're still able to get fit. And it's because they don't give themselves this stupid excuse that they don't have time. So your biggest issue is not busyness. It's actually having low standards. It's not stress. It's a poor identity. So the quicker you change that, the quicker you take action. And the quicker you change who you are mentally, the quicker you'll take actions, which leads to good results. So if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the YouTube so that you can see more of my videos. Hit the like to show that you actually enjoyed it. Maybe leave a comment about what the biggest thing that changed your mind was. And I'm gonna put a video up here, and it's gonna be an amazing video. It's gonna be the best video you ever watched. So you should check out my other videos. And again, you can DM me the word busy on Instagram for a free consult, or you can just follow me on my Instagram, which will be again in the description, so you can see more valuable content like this.